The hidden cost of chaos, it's not just your schedule or your budget. It's your peace, your clarity, your ability to live with intention. Welcome to A Cup of Hope, the podcast where we slow down just long enough to lift our eyes, look around, and get honest about what's working and what's not. I'm your host, Sherry Lynn, and today we're talking about something that hits all of us at some point: the frustration of not being able to find what we need, when we need it, and what that's really costing us. So, confession time. I don't have a dedicated space or a very organized system for my tools and household repair supplies right now. I used to, years ago, but things changed, and I haven't made it a priority. A couple of weeks ago, my son Tim, who's a plumber, called and asked if he could come over to fix a bathtub issue that I had been putting off. I said yes, and since the repair was in the hallway, I told him to go ahead and cut into the drywall so I could patch it myself later instead of installing an access panel. Fast forward to the next day, I go to grab my drywall tape, and I can't find it. I look in the places it should be, no luck. So now I'm placing an online order to Lowe's for a $6 roll of tape. Was it a huge expense? No. But it was a waste of money and wasted time. Time spent looking, time spent ordering, time and money spent driving, and let's be honest, some frustration and self-talk I didn't need. The truth is, the tape wasn't the real problem. The lack of a system was. That little bit of chaos in my life had a hidden cost. And that's what we're talking about today: the hidden cost of chaos. In this episode, we're going to explore how a simple inventory of your time, money, or energy can help you plug the leaks before they wear you down. You'll walk away with a 10-minute challenge that will help you reset and start making space for what matters most. Now, here is what I find so comforting. This idea of taking an inventory, some people say it's a productivity hack. I say it's part of God's design for us. In Genesis chapter 2, we read that by the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing, so on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. He didn't just power through, he stopped. He paused. He looked at what he had created. He called it good. And he rested. Our God is a God of order, of rhythm, of intentionality. He created boundaries between the light and the dark, the land and the sea, work and rest. And he built those same rhythms into us. But when we don't stop to look at our time, our money, or our energy, we lose sight of that rhythm. And instead of living aligned, we live exhausted. Something I've been learning and wrestling with honesty is that rest is a tangible act of faith. Taking a day to stop, to renew, not produce, is one way I show God I trust him to sustain me. And that's not always easy. For years, I worked from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Sunday morning. First, to get out of debt, and then truthfully, it fit my schedule better than getting up an hour earlier each day during the week. Now, this isn't about legalism. Some people have to work Sundays. Some seasons are full. But this is about asking a deeper question. Am I making space for rest and renewal? Or am I living like it all depends on me? Ouch. If you've been following this Align series with me, you'll remember that A is for assess. That's the big picture moment. Where am I? What's working? What's not? L is for learn, where we look at our vision, purpose, mission, and goals. But I is for inventory, and this is where we zoom in. Think of it this way. When you assess your house, you stand in the doorway and take it all in. When you take an inventory, you step inside. You open drawers, check the fridge. What do we have? What do we need? And what are the science experiments that need to go? Inventory means getting curious, not judgmental, about where your time, money, and energy are actually going. And the truth is, most of us are leaking in more than one area. Proverbs 27:23 says, "Know the state of your flocks and put your heart into caring for your herds. For riches don't last forever, and the crown might not be passed to the next." Back when this was written, flocks represented your wealth, your livelihood. Today, your flocks might look like your calendar, your bank account, or your to-do list. Taking inventory helps you ask, what am I really spending my time on? Where is my money going that I didn't plan for? And what is draining my energy? And does it need to? Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven." And that's the New Living Translation. When we take time to inventory our lives, we're not just organizing our schedules or reviewing our spending. We're sifting and sorting, gently filtering what belongs in this season and what doesn't. When I was a kid, we used something called a seed cleaning screen. It was part of the process we went through before grinding wheat into flour. And it was slow work, but really important. These screens had multiple layers. The top screen would catch the big stuff, rocks, sticks, pieces of straw. But underneath that were finer screens that sifted out the smaller impurities. Things like dirt, dust, even other seeds. The goal was to separate everything that didn't belong, so that what was left was clean, useful, and ready to be turned into something nourishing. Today, large-scale wheat cleaning uses not just screens, but also air filters, magnets, and other methods to make sure the flour we bake with is free from contamination, because what you grind, you consume. And in the same way, taking inventory is how we clean out what's contaminating our time, our money, and our energy, so we can make something beautiful with what remains. You might be wondering, what would that even look like? It starts with asking layered questions like, does this align with the vision I have for my life? Is it part of my purpose? Who God is shaping me to be? Does it support my mission in this current season? And then we move to the practical filters. Can I afford this with my time, my budget, or my energy? And if everything feels urgent or already overbooked, here's something to consider. What if, instead of trying to rearrange what's already on your plate, you cleared the table first? That's the heart of inventory. Not to tear everything down, but to rebuild with intention, one piece at a time. And you don't have to do it alone. And here's where grace comes in. Saying not right now doesn't always mean never. Sometimes it just means not in this season, not if I want to stay aligned. So here's your quick win challenge for today. Set a timer for 10 minutes and choose just one area of your life to look at. Pull up your calendar and ask, what on here is draining me? What, or maybe who, do I need to say no to? Look at your bank account. What's one spending habit that is not serving you? Or take stock of your energy. What's stealing it? And what helps restore it? This isn't about guilt. It's about getting curious and getting clear. Friend, I know this kind of reflection takes courage. Slowing down isn't always easy when life feels loud and busy. But when you pause, when you take inventory, you begin to make space for clarity and peace. So don't forget this one powerful question this week. What's draining me right now? If you want more support or just need help knowing where to begin, grab the free Align Reset Journal linked in the show notes, or hop on the Align Reset waitlist to be the first to know when the doors are open. I'm cheering you on as you take that next small step toward clarity and peace. I'll see you next time as we talk about G, which is for grow. What it looks like to take what you've discovered and begin building a life that reflects your values, vision, and who you're becoming. Until then, remember, you were made for more than chaos. You were made to live aligned. If you realize you've been living in chaos or survival mode for a while, you're not alone. And you don't have to figure it out all on your own either. That's why I've created the Align Reset Group, a safe, supportive coaching experience to help you get clear on what really matters, gently filter out what doesn't, and begin building a life that reflects your vision, purpose, and values. You can click the link in the show notes to join the waitlist. Thanks for spending this time with me today. I hope you're walking away with a little more clarity, more hope, and maybe even permission to take a deep breath. If today's episode encouraged you, would you take just 30 seconds to follow the show or share it with a friend? It helps more women just like you find a cup of hope. Remember, God can take the broken pieces of your story and create something more beautiful than you ever imagined. Until next time, I'm Sherry Lynn, and this is A Cup of Hope.